This comment is the reason that today's video exists. Stoic basically said, hey, you know that Blackout AR build you showed forever ago, the strongest loadout you ever seen, dashing around with flash AC, doing bunches of damage and then messing it up in the intro of your video? That thing pairs really well with the Nocturno, and that's what we're looking into today. So I want to make a mention that that old build is still very strong, but it gets a lot of its energy from Fall in Love Rachel Jonesy, who is not giving 6 energy per second anymore. It's more like 2, and that sucks. But the Dirge song is a great follow-up to that. I'm going to link all these videos in the description down below if you guys want to explore the Dirge song. It's a very, very strong combo. I understand that not everybody has the Nocturno, but we do have a crafting channel in Minerva. It is not a marketplace. This is not for buying and selling. This is not for making a profit. We encourage a community where people can play and help each other together. That is what this is. If you ask, hey, I need Nocturno, please, and they say, hey, I need, 30 efficient parts and 11 Sunbeam, you say, okay, and that's how you get a Nocturno. So nobody in there is forced to help you. Please be very polite and be patient if nobody's around at the time who has the Nocturno schematic, but I'm just saying, people who have the Nocturno are usually plenty happy to provide you one if you just give them what it costs. So, now that we've covered availability, giving credit to Stoic for inspiring this awesome idea, let me show you what I did on stream earlier. This is basically what's happening. I put down a bunch of healing pads because he's Ricochet. Then I'm eating a wafer with a triple crit damage Nocturno. We'll explain the build in just a second. A teammate is shooting a Discharger, which is not something that's recommended, by the way. The Discharger does 2.5 times damage, right? To like Smashers, Takers for some reason, and Storm King end phase. It triggers on a 1.5 second interval normally to general targets, but to them, it's 0.2. So I got the number wrong. It's actually 7 times faster, 7.5 times faster against Smashers. So don't use it versus normal targets. It won't do that much. But in this build, I'm stacking up damage, stacking up damage, stacking up damage. I was looking at my health, hoping to not kill myself, but I actually ran out of ammo. So what happens is when you trigger the explosion on the Nocturno, it is supposed to do 65% of the damage dealt. So say I did 1 million damage to this target. It should explode for 650,000. But what is happening when you have, let me show the build while I talk about this. When you have first shot Rio in support, you have a guaranteed crit chance. That is just right there. And when you have Chaos Agent in support, you can trigger a reload with a grenade or a shockwave, or if we're using Flash AC, phase shift. And when we trigger that reload, it will first activate the 100% chance to crit, which then applies to this explosion, doing a ridiculous amount of damage. I kind of just killed myself. Let me back that up just a little bit so we could see that all happen. Let me go frame by frame. Yeah, so we're doing lots and lots and lots of damage. It looks like 1 million, but it's so much more than that. You can see this explosion up here is basically what's happening. It looks like it's 1.1 million. That might actually be accurate, but it's a lot. In the other build, we were able to do tens of millions, and this is where I'm setting it up one more time. I want you to look at that health bar in the top left, aiming, and boom, I'm dashing away for, is that number? Yeah, 12,799,671. I thought we were a digit short before. That's how much damage you can activate real easy. It's incredible. And I did a ton of math in a recent video on this subject, actually, where I broke it down. I got a little into the weeds. It's a little much, but if you watched my MSK video, you could see me lose my mind at the halfway point where I entered a black void of doing math. And I won't put you through that again, but basically, if you do 11.363% of the enemy's health and then activate the explosion, that is sufficient to kill that target. So just try to eyeball 15-20% of their health, and once you get about that low, then you've initiated a successful explosion. So let me explain everything about this loadout. I've explained the bug in play. I believe it's a bug, and how we're activating it. Flash AC is purely for the phase shift. We just want to activate that phase shift as often as possible. I don't even think the hero ability damage that was useful in the Blackout build is even applicable here. We want Totally Rockin' Out just to crit more often, because you're not just multiplying that explosion with a giant crit, but it's multiplying the amount of damage you dealt. So that's why we're using a triple crit damage Nocturno, but Battle Beat is just awesome. She activates really well if you kill a big horde of enemies. Sub Wafers is almost essential if you're running triple crit damage. You want that guaranteed chance to crit, or as much as you can get. Hero in the lobby offered to run Boom Base, so thank you to her. She's going to be boosting our base crit chance significantly, which is great because we're not going to have a crit rating perk. Then Sledgehammer is in support. Now, I have showed this build twice before. I just showed one of them, that MSK video. I'll have all the links down below. He is significantly more damage in the lead. But when you're already doing tens of millions of damage, the only help you need is versus a mini boss. And as shown, even versus Ricochet, you don't need 30 million damage in one boom. That's fun for a showcase. I got some great videos out of it, but in support, he is plenty of damage. Our boy Stoic, all right, he kind of triggered me because he said it was just as strong as the OG loadout. No, nowhere near, but he is correct in suggesting that it is plenty of damage. And then we have First Shot Rio, Chaos Agent, who is unlockable very easily. I get this question a lot, so I'll just give a quick tutorial. Run the crypts one time, then you unlock the lab, run the lab 3 times. You now have Chaos Agent. Congratulations, go enjoy. And that's the build. That's the build. We could show the weapon, real simple. I suggested it several times. Triple crit damage. Mag size is very important because the more bullets that we can stack onto the target to amplify that explosion, the better. If you don't want that or whatever, I don't know what to tell you because you kind of need Chaos Agent's activation with an ability to reload it. So there's no point for a reload perk other than when the times that you're not trying to activate it. It's situational, but I suggest a mag size. I'm using water because we're in a fire zone, and that's it. I'm just going to cut to the defense. Let's go kill some 250 power level enemies and have a great time. All right, I said we would skip to the defense, but I messed up an encampment earlier, and I just can't help myself. So watch how insane this build is. You start with the baby targets in front of you, activate consistent battle beat, then you focus on a big target that could need it, phase shift, and they're died. They're dead. They die. It's that simple. The Nocturno is just normally very strong, and whenever you kill an enemy, it triggers that explosion. So this build is a gigantic mix of the explosion being bugged to do way more damage when you prep it, and the Nocturno just being normally awesome with a totally rocking out triple crit damage combo. All right, one more encampment. I'm running around getting wafers because this build relies on them, and I can't help myself. So, starting with a big target, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you want to prep the explosion, but it almost doesn't even make sense to do so. And then you can see phase shifting just so easy. I mean, look at that. Those enemies died to my back, but go down so easily. Now we just have a few stragglers. That's it. We have a couple of enemies to clean up, and the encampment is completely dead. Is that not the most insane encampment kill you've seen today? All right, the defense has begun. There's a lot of trapping going on here and a lot of traps I need to recycle, but I have a 27.5% base crit chance. Also, my overlay is smaller now. I've been streaming a lot of Slay the Spire, and that demands a smaller... Oh my gosh, I was running water in this fire zone so much that I instinctively put down my nature electric fields. Well, let's hope that helps me in some way. So this build is crazy. We need big targets like them. You get roughly 11.36% and they go down very, very easily. Like, this is awesome. And we use Flash AC because you can see in the bottom right, that refreshes so quickly. It looks like I have Happy Holidays. And then you eat a wafer, phase shift, dies easily. Kill a bunch of targets just to get Battle Beat active. Use that on the big guy right here, empty the mag, and so I think what happened there, it delayed, yeah. What happened there is it looked like it triggered a natural reload before Chaos Agent could kick in. Usually you want to reload with 1 or 2 bullets left. Bullying a Chrome Husk. Don't we all love it? If anybody watching this is having trouble with Chrome Husks, you want to use water or fire to kill them. It's just part of the quest line in Blockbuster. It's the Magnets quest line. If you get to the 9th page and complete that, you actually kill them permanently. You will not see them anymore. Unless somebody else in the lobby hasn't done the Magnets quest line, in which case the Chrome Husks will continue spawning, and that's unfortunate, but yeah. Kieran, my savior, thank you so much. We need to target big groups of enemies. That's why this build is so insane. The Nocturno is an awesome weapon, we all know, pay to win, but it is group damage and single target combined. This thing is a monster, and I'm asking my team to leave the smashers alone. Thank you very much. She's pushing it back and dead. And we could do the same thing over here. Just get roughly 20% down and he's dead. Yeah, and that's why the percent is important, because even if you're not critting, it doesn't matter. The whole issue with not critting is that you're just taking longer to deal about, I'll say 15% instead of the exact number to confuse everybody. 15% of their health is pretty much all you need to do. Once you've triggered that amount, multiplying it by 8 plus the amount that you've already applied is enough to kill. And that's effectively what's happening here. I'll skip all the math, like I said. I went more in depth in the MSK video, but that's pretty much all you need to worry about, which is why I'm not even eating my wafers. I went to all this effort to get a bunch of wafers in preparation for this recording, and then I'm barely using them because you don't always need it. It's more useful for the bigger targets who are going to need that upfront damage quickly. It's all a matter of time. As long as you deal the amount of damage, the only difference with not critting is that you take longer to get there. That's the point I was making earlier. So right there, I could just stop shooting and then just phase shift and watch everything die. It's a little delayed sometimes, and I think that's partially what's happening. Like, Chaos Agent reloads and activates first shot Rio, and then later on the explosion actually kicks in. And for some reason, that interaction, first shot Rio's 100% goes to the crit chances, the explosion. For some reason, I don't know, like the explosion is not supposed to be able to crit. That's why I call this a bug. Like, it's not even supposed to work like that, but it does. Man, I keep trying to like save my phase shift as if I'm using it too often, but it doesn't even matter. So this build is pretty good countering right now. The spawns are countering me pretty well, because long range enemies that are little babies hiding behind rocks is not very good for this build. It's not a Xenon bow, all right? You know, vacuum tube bow actually wouldn't even do decent. Did you guys know the vacuum tube bow actually like holds up in a fire zone? It's like not okay. It's ridiculous how strong that is. And Epic knew that. Did you guys know? Okay, somebody a while ago in my comments complained how Epic only fixes the bugs that make us happy, and then they spend their time on bugs that people don't want fixed. And I will say that's not always true. So the vacuum tube bow chaining with Stoneheart Pharah is something that Epic decided was so overpowered they reverted the change. But literally everybody didn't like that, and Epic decided, fine, we'll keep it. Pharah now works with the vacuum tube bow and other abilities from weapons, and we're just gonna allow that to work for everything except the stink bow for some reason. So yeah, anyway, the vacuum tube bow is very overpowered. Epic knows. They tried to undo it, and the community said no. And now the vacuum tube bow is an insane weapon that it is. So yeah, I love seeing a Chrome Husk go down. It's funny. I'm looking for smashers, but I believe Chrome Husks have a similar health pool. I don't have the exact numbers in my brain, but Chrome Husks are extremely tanky, as I'm sure nobody watching this needs me to tell them. I want to get more smashers. I'm showcasing an extremely overpowered build, and I want smashers. I am not in an editing mood lately. This is going to be a live com, but if I don't see any smashers, I'm gonna rant. I want smashers, but nurses are fun too. It's so nice to just focus on the ladies and just watch everything around them blow up. It's so sad. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So this is what I'm talking about. The health is not low enough. That's not going to kill, nowhere near it. But with Battle Beat active and wafers, it's overkill. Easy damage. That was 6 million damage in like 2 seconds of setup. That is literally stronger than the plasmatic discharger, which is saying something. You can see like I did not leave one bullet in the mag. I triggered a natural reload, which did not activate the explosion the normal way that it should. Oh no, a Chrome Husk slamming on our base. Oh, never mind. Got him. Got him. Is 5 million damage to everything in close proximity with only seconds of setup and one wafer? Is that is that a fair amount of damage? I don't even know. Like, I know that they had to discontinue Founders because of V-Bucks earnings, and it was losing a lot of sales because it was so not worth it for Epic to sell that. But like, the Nocturno was a victim of that, and yeah, it's amazing that this weapon is as strong as it is. And it's only a paid weapon. Again, you can ask other people who have the schematic, and ooh, mini boss, mini boss, mini boss. Yes, it's a killable mini boss who's already very low because my teammates don't care that I'm recording a video, but it seems like they stopped shooting knowing what was going on. Yes, look at that damage. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I had teammate help there. Somebody did a quarter of its health, but that was like a meg and a half. That was like a meg and a half. I love it so much. Oh, this build is so satisfying. It's like the Sledgehammer build I've showcased recently, but it's faster. That's the whole key with Flash AC. Like, couldn't you just throw a grenade? Yes. But Flash AC is so good. I will say, just for getting wafers, farming with the anti-material charge is kind of its own thing that I very much like. And the fact that you're able to phase shift around normally even when you're not proccing the explosion, that's awesome stuff. That's awesome stuff. Oh no. Oh no, not a smasher. Oh no, my queen. Is there one person in chat who gets that reference? Does anybody know what I'm talking about there? Oh no, my queen. Okay. Is that Eric Rosen, chess player? Is that who I'm referencing? I don't know. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to Google it, but yeah. Heal my teammate, because I'm a team player. I heard something. Thank you so much, team, for marking the smashers. There we go. Yes. I just want to get as much smasher carnage as I can. And that explosion is everything around it. I mentioned this earlier, but the crowd clearing is fantastic. We are doing millions of damage to a single target and everything around it. How is this okay? How is this okay? I love it so much. This build is probably one of my upcoming favorites because no, because it turns an insane weapon that's already very strong. The Nocturno is just normally awesome into this extra strong powerhouse. I mean, activating with Sledgehammer was great, but it was always clunky throwing grenades, and grenades and shockwaves aren't really always available. They go on a pretty big cooldown, so with the Sledgehammer variant in the commander's position, you weren't always getting all the explosions you wanted to, and if you activated the explosions too often, you would sometimes just fall behind where you couldn't even throw your ability. The amount of times, even in recordings, little Ben's Warcry from the stream, I record these live on Twitch, by the way, link down below if you guys want to be a part of the fun, but I've, even in recordings, demonstrated the Sledgehammer build where I'm shooting and killing and shooting and killing and shooting and killing, and I get so into the flow of it that I run out of frag grenades, or I run out of shockwave, or God forbid I try the minigun, which only works half the time, and then you're stuck holding a weapon that is not your Nocturno for 5 seconds at a time. So, yes, this is... Oh, you know what? 11.363% probably doesn't apply to this calculation because you're doing 150% less crit damage. That's probably why I wasn't killing as often as I thought I would. And it's also probably good just to have that buffer. So 11.363% is the amount when you're critting with Sledge in the lead for a big number that's about, you know, 8.8 is the key number in there. But since we're doing less, it's good that I always round up to like 15 or 20%. It's hard to see 11% eyeballing it. So like 1/5 of the health is something you can usually approximate. And making that faster with Flash AC is so good. Like, it is technically a lot less damage to have Sledge and support, but I couldn't really tell. I couldn't really tell. And one thing I didn't mention in the beginning, and it's hardly worth mentioning even now, is that because we had to squeeze in Flash AC, we had to remove something in support, and I did away with Assault Ammo Recovery. And he's great because stacking more bullets onto the target and then exploding is a nice to have, but he was never pivotal for the build to function. As you can see, we're still taking out a pretty strong mini-boss with 2 mags. Less than that. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been out of the flow of making videos recently, so I'm not really editing, but I think this was perfectly fine as a live comm, and I hope this was entertaining for you. So subscribe, like the video. Members got early access to this video, and if you would like that same pleasure, link down below if you guys want to join the channel. I haven't been uploading as frequently as I have recently, so I understand if that's not worth it for you right now, but I still wanted to make this one because, was it Stoic? Was that his name? Left an awesome comment, a suggestion that I had to follow up on. I never even interacted with the comment. I wanted to surprise him when I just came out of nowhere with a video inspired from his message. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.